boys.
Yeah, back, streets back. All right.
Absolutely. So we've had a hiatus because it's been in the summer and also because my whole world has been falling apart.
Oh my God, we have so much to tell you. It is
So,
beyond belief.
yeah, it's been a time of reforming, regrouping,
Reflection.
examining, re-examining,
Yeah.
reclaiming.
Control. Reclaiming's a good one. Control. Goodbyes.
Lots of goodbyes and starting again. That's been happening.
Few holidays in between.
A few holidays. Sorry, who are you and where have you been? We've been on one holiday.
Yeah, one holiday.
What
it
you
felt
mean?
there, but it felt like
It felt
there
like
was-
2 holidays.
Yeah, once we explain what happened, and yes, it feels like there was many holidays.
Well,
you know?
one of them wasn't a holiday, really. It felt like hell. Oh, great. I booked a squat. That's amazing.
Yeah, where are we? Are we in Shanty Town?
And have I paid how much for it? And my poor parents.
$1 million.
My poor parents who were in their 70s just trying to be okay with it, even though we gave them the best room. It was a good room, their room. It was the only good room. The rest of the rooms looked like prison cells. But nonetheless, that was not a holiday.
I was just about to say, I feel like we need to start at the beginning, but
Where is
that
the beginning?
Yeah, where is the beginning?
Where can you begin?
I mean, you could begin after we turned off the recording of the last podcast, but not everything. So much has gone on then since I just don't know. So maybe as we start,
You know, you feel like a whole different human being. Like, I feel like an entirely different human being. Like the last 2 years have been crazy. Last year, I lost my right-hand woman, my best friend in the world. So last year was just shocking.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Just like shocking. I still don't think I've come to terms with the fact that I can't call her, you know.
Yeah.
I was driving back yesterday, going through my phone book of people to call to keep me company when I was driving back from Newcastle. And every single time I was just like, oh, I just want to ring Pam, just want to ring Pam. So last year was just one of those readjustment years of like, my life is not going to play out how I imagined. Me and Pam are not going to end up in the old people's home together drinking gin, which was our life plan.
I know.
That was what we were going to do when you died.
I
'Cause
was
men
just about
die.
to say,
That's what happens, men die.
yeah.
So we were going to do that together and we were okay with that. And she was my absolute parallel. Everything that we were going through together. I could pretend I was still 19 with her because, you know, her face and my face were changing at the same time, so we didn't really notice the lines, and we just laughed so much, and that's gone, and I've had to start coming to terms with that, and that's where I'm in that journey. But you get to a point where you're like, right, it's going to be okay now. I know I've got other losses to come because
everybody does.
life is one of those journeys.
I think it's preparation, isn't it? You just got to prepare.
Well, you
yourself.
can't really prepare.
Yeah.
As that proved, you can't prepare. But the point is that year I was like, right, okay, hopefully mum and dad will be around for a bit longer. Hopefully everybody else is going to be okay for a while.
Yeah.
So maybe I can just get myself back on track and get my head around my career. It's a big one, big
Yeah,
driver. Because when
career.
Pam got sick, I kind of shelved my TV work a lot. I did as minimal as I could just to get by. And then like kind of really started to go back into it. Had really quiet few months, not in TV, but elsewhere. And then this year was concentrating on launching the business that I've been building for 5 years.
Yeah, it was.
Which was going to be this amazing online platform. And then that just got completely screwed over
It did.
because of somebody doing something wrong outside of my control.
Yeah.
And the consequence of that was that I had to decide to go into administration. Like, that wasn't meant to happen this year.
We know. Well, listeners don't, but they do now.
How does that even happen? That you do nothing wrong and then you have to close your company?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's a growing experience. And I think that when you actually consider the fact that I've done 5 years building that company to a point where we were right to launch, I've never taken any money from it. I feel really glad that I never kind of utilised any of the funds for myself. But you just sit there and you think, you can never ever be sure of anything. I always say that, like, security is a myth. Like, don't ever feel secure, because a lot of people, they spend their life thinking, oh, I'd do that, but that'll make me less safe than here. But the truth is that the fabric of your life can be just ripped from under you in a moment. Either somebody dies, or your company goes into administration, or any of those things.
Well, I used to get that with people I used to know who worked for like a council or some, you know, it was, I'm sound, I've got a pension, I work for the council, I'm happy where I am, I can move up after, you know, but then like the council started laying people off. You know, and one of these people was the person who got laid off, and it's like you never.
No.
So that, you know, it's like it doesn't matter how secure you think you are with what firm or what government or what council. You know, you've just to have a few sort of contingency plans in the background. And a contingency plan is doing something you love, master it.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
And then
Be
just
passionate
while you're
about
working
it.
and earn your cash, master the passion that you've got. And it says there's lots of videos online about it, and a lot of people say it, but master it, because that thing. And I say master because you say master, but I say master. Same as plaster. No. But if you do, you master it. It's, you know, passion.
The pounds come.
Yes.
Not in the case of my company, but nonetheless, on the whole, the pounds come. The thing is, though, that one of the things I found reassuring, using one of those rewords that we brought in at the beginning, which we were just flippantly throwing in, but now that I can hook onto.
One that we didn't throw in though was reanimation, because we haven't been experimenting on dead things and bringing them back to life.
You don't think we've been doing that, but
Wheels in
Harry!
The zebra. Zebra's been dead for 16 years. We've kept him on ice just for Emma to reanimate.
All the animals, all reanimated.
Yeah, all reanimated. It's the 6th day with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but real.
So reassuring is that when I had to make that decision to pull the company, so just for anybody who doesn't understand what happens when you have a company that relies on investment, apart from obviously you rely on investment to get it going, one of the things that you have to do is you have to make sure that you don't act outside of your fiduciary duties as a director. And I'm the sole director, so therefore anything that I do that compromises my ethics within the company means that I could be culpable, rightfully so, for anything legally going wrong. And one of the things that you have to do is you can't get into debt knowingly. So if you can't meet your bills and you don't know how you're going to make them be paid for at some point, you basically have to go into administration, which is what happened to me, because there was no way I was going to get any new funds, not in a legitimate way from the source that was initially giving them me. And whilst I'm not going to call anybody out because I don't know all the facts and I don't want to put anybody into a situation that's difficult, what I will say is the reality was, after getting a lot of legal advice, it was, you need to pull this now, you need to do this. And it was one of those things where you have worried about it for a long time. I think we do this in life a lot. You know, you worry about it for a long time. You're employed by my company, essentially, not as a staff member, but you've always been the filmmaker and the editor. Yeah. And so was your brother, because they wouldn't mind if they didn't get paid. And there was often times where I just couldn't pay them. So it was really hard for my family who worked with me. My brother is actually my right-hand man. He's an incredible guy. And he gets paid by the company as well, because I can't pay them sometimes, so you can't really employ anybody on a low wage and say, by the way, you might not get paid. But the loyalty and all of those things that you've shown has been something that's always going to remain a major factor for me, and a learning lesson that, you know, people talk about nepotism, and I do see that there's nepotism and negativity, and I get that. But for me, when you think about nepotism in the context of, yes, I employed you and your brother, as in I gave you the filming contract, it's because it would have cost us about 80 grand more a month, the amount of content you gave me. And also, the point is that whilst you licensed it to us, the truth was that you went without constantly, and you just still did all the work, as did your brother. My own brother, who's, you know, been on £1,000 a month when he's a barrister, but he's done it because he believes in the product. He believes that helping people with well-being is really important. So even though it's really negative to some degree, it's really positive, because it just reinforces you that actually those nearest and dearest, they've been there through the hard times, and they've just resonated with the same belief system.
Oh, they've got the same, they've got the same sort of notion inside them to want to be able to do the work, because they've got a belief that it would work, you know.
Yeah, and we all believed it would work. But also, I think that I always think to myself, I talk about resilience all the time. I talk about the fact that at the end of the day, there's always a movement forward. There's always a plan B, C, D, E, F. Just make a letter up. The truth is that I've always lived my life like that, but I don't think you get to test it that often when you're in an established position. And I'm going to use the term established very, 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 very minimally for myself. I'm freelancer, and whilst I'm contracted to this morning, which is lovely. Not that I've been on for ages, because I've actually been so busy with other things, but that's really lovely.
It is lovely.
I thought that Vanessa had taken my place, but I was completely wrong.
After a good 10 years, you've now got a contract.
I've got a contract, yeah, which is absolutely lovely. I haven't seen the contract, but it doesn't matter, because the point is I don't even care what the contract says. It was just lovely that they gave me one, and it made me feel really happy, just as a gesture. But I'm established to the point where I have a mortgage and I have a car, and my kids go to school and have the lunches paid for, and we can get by in that way. We can have a holiday once a year, which was my dream when I was younger. It was like once a year we could get a holiday. But the truth is that my company was something I ploughed all my money into.
Yeah.
It was something I ploughed all my time into. It means I don't have a pension. You don't have a pension. We genuinely just put our all into it, and it's gone. At this point, it's gone. But the next day, after I'd gone into administration, I was like, right, I'm going to do it a different way. And it was getting myself up and getting on that train to London and starting to call in, I wouldn't say the favours that I've manifested over my years, but I've always had this philosophy, which is like, in life, there are two ways of getting places. One is with your talent and ability, and the second is, do you know somebody? That's the truth. TV is a bit like that as well. So I don't know anybody. So I hope that it's been my talent that got me where I needed to go. And whilst I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that that's something that's going to carry on, because TV always ends, particularly when you're a woman, you get to a certain age and they kind of wheel you off. But what I have manifested across that platform is always being nice to everybody. Like, I cannot express how that rule has played out, because people aren't nice to everybody. People are horrible to people. And particularly in that world, it can be quite pernicious. My rule is be lovely to everybody. People won't always trust you. I've had that, because people can't get why you're always nice. But be nice, be kind. That's my rule.
Well, that's what you are anyway, so it's hard for you to not be nice.
That's right.
It's instilled in it. That's the person you are.
I don't want to be anything other.
That's your personal persona. That's your vibe, you know.
But I'm not soft.
I'm
not soft. Yeah. So, I think you can manifest being nice, but also kind of taking no bullshit. So it's the fact that all those years where that's what I've practiced, in this moment of quite dark scenarios, financially, occupationally, future, whatever that is, it's the fact that I was able to pick up the phone and speak to people who could help me. Like, I picked up the phone to Siobhan Freegard, who I work with on Channel Mum. So Channel Mum is amazing. Anybody listening who's ever had any problems with postnatal depression, antenatal depression, you've got issues with your kids not sleeping, you're worried about your future with your children, you're a single mum, you need some support, channelmum.com is absolutely brilliant.
Even if you're a dad.
It is. Siobhan Freegard, she actually created Net Mums. She then sold Net Mums, but she is one of the most altruistic, philanthropic, loving, genuine human beings that anybody would be benefited to have in their lives. And she is an absolute life force. I cannot express it. And I met her in this morning. We literally had never met each other in our lives before. She was sat opposite me. I saw her. She was kind of chatting to somebody, and I just kind of started to talk with her. And within 2 minutes, I was like, I need this human being in my life. I need her in my life. And in the end, we had a very bizarre serendipity. We were on the same phone in. And then she realised that she knew who I was through somebody else. And I realised I knew. So Charlie and JK, JK's a radio presenter. Charlie was a radio presenter as well. But they do a brilliant podcast now called Married and Tired, I think it is.
Yeah, I think it's Married and Tired.
And the podcast, give it a listen. They're lovely. They're really lovely people. She had talked to Siobhan about me, and that kind of circle had connected. And Siobhan is somebody who's just like a driver in my life, because she's like a magnificent woman. She's definitely made me feel like I'm not alone anymore. Like, I had that gap in my life with Pam.
Yeah, no pun intended there. You're not alone. You know.
Yana hashtag is hashtag Yana is Channel Mum's thing. Yeah, we should be doing this professionally. But basically, she's one of those people that, again, like I just called her and she was like, Emma, come down, let's talk about it. And I won't say what Siobhan has done, but she offered me, a lifeline.
Yeah.
And she offered me a lifeline without any ties, without any payback or anything. It was just like this one lifeline that said, here, this will help you a little bit. And that has blown my mind.
Yeah.
No one's ever done anything like that before. But also, all those conversations that you had with people over the years where suddenly I've picked up the phone and go, you know what, I'm in a bit of a mess here. Have you got any direction? Jessica Cunningham's another person who's come forward. I don't know why I'm name dropping in this way. It's not to kind of say, oh, I know these people, because I'm sure people listening won't really know who they are. Jessica Cunningham is a woman who I met again in this morning. We did something together, and instantly just one of those energies that you just feel so comfortable with. She's absolutely gorgeous, but so human. And she's got 3 kids. She was pregnant with a 4th at the time. Her ex-husband had killed himself recently, and she'd met this new guy, was having a baby with him. We kind of had this amazing conversation, connected. She doesn't live too far away from me. And so from there, I've kind of also spoken to her, and she's
Where does she live? Is she Leeds?
She's more Sheffield way.
Sheffield, yeah.
But she was basically, Emma, look, I don't know whether this will help you. Let me give you the number of this other guy. And then I speak to this guy, and this guy's amazing. And what I'm saying is, even though it's been highly traumatic as far as when you lose something you've been working for such a long time, it's a real slap in the face. But what's come out of it is far greater than any money that I could have gained from that.
Yeah.
And it's cost me a fortune.
Yeah.
But
it's got rid of sort of bad relationships, not from your point of behalf, but from because in that scenario, in the business world, there is a lot of things that go on, and it's not very nice people sometimes. So it's removed all that from our situation, hasn't it? So then we can. That's a weight off your shoulders. And that's he said, like, you woke up the day after and you were just like, right, something else. Yeah.
I felt like I was free as well. That was the other thing.
I think a lot of lessons have been learned.
Massive.
Within the business arena. And, not all of them have been absolutely horrible. Some of them have been good. We've
met
learned.
some great
Yeah,
people.
Absolutely. But also learned the ways and that it works. And
even
what
my
people
administrators.
Do. Yeah.
My administrators, Gareth and Philip, I had to do everything so correctly. There are different ways you can do administration. You can do a pre-pack one, which is like a Phoenix company. You just carry on the same day and basically write off all your debts. No way were we going to do that. I wanted it to be that somebody could come in and look at the company records. Every penny's accounted for.
Yep.
Like, people haven't been paid for months because they've just carried on working, believing in it,
I'm destitute now.
You're destitute. You're a full-time dad now. Stroke editor at home. But it was really interesting to kind of reflect on the way that you think you'll feel versus the way that you actually feel, and having people like Philip and Gareth just be with me during that process. Legally, they're on the side of the company, so they weren't supporting me in any way other than saying, if you follow the process perfectly, if you market the company how it's meant to be marketed, if you show us your assets and make sure it's all above board. There weren't any assets, we'd sold them obviously because we couldn't bloody well carry on going. The point was, all the other things like the ones online, all of that, they just did it in such a way that was like, yes, it was a longer process and it was a harder process, which is why I haven't talked about it on here until now. But actually, it's made me feel so safe because I just have this real issue with wanting everything to be done perfectly so that everybody knows, and I'm very open about things. But I don't feel now like it's been a really bad thing. I think it's been something that's made me go, okay, so maybe it's not going to be that direction anymore. Yeah. But the new direction I'm taking feels like it's going to be the right direction.
Yeah, without a doubt.
It's
Absolutely.
weird for you because you're unemployed, mate.
Oh, well, yes, I'm employed. I'm freelance. So actually I am doing all the dad things and getting on with the house stuff, but I've got editing work and stuff. So if anybody needs any editing, just come and see me.
Yeah, you've got a few people now.
Oh, yeah, I'm starting to get credits to my name. TV people.
I know, it's so ridiculous.
We can't hire you because you've got no credits after your name. Yeah, but maybe I just don't do
5
things on
years
TV.
in corporate,
maybe it's
that's why.
And digital content, it's like, it's still cinematography, still editing with bloody Premiere Pro, Final Cut and Avid.
It is
You get me
frustrating.
blood.
It is frustrating. I was
Yeah.
having a conversation with the BBC about that yesterday, and they couldn't believe it. And I was saying, yeah, it's really bad. Because the thing is that you are as trained as anybody working, and more trained than anybody working in lots of TV departments. But you don't work on programmes because for 5 years you've been employed by me.
It's funny because you can know your tools, you know, but it's how you see something within that. You know, you can use whatever, Avid, FCPX, or whatever, you know, and Premiere Pro. But I mean, I prefer Final Cut because of the workflow within a Mac. I just really
I think everyone's going to Final Cut now.
I do. I just think it's just got a nicer workflow. Maybe it's just because I'm an Apple guy. I don't know. Premiere Pro is good if you like sort of your Photoshops and stuff, but it's how you sort of see it and how you put it in there, and you know, it's.
Yesterday when I was doing my filming with Inside Out for the BBC, they gave me a computer that I had to scroll up, and I just couldn't do it.
Oh, was it a PC?
And
Did your fingers burn?
said to the camera guy, "Can you come and help me?" He went, "I've got Apple as well."
Oh, yeah.
They had to get somebody in. It was just really simple, but my brain is Apple.
Is it like left click and then?
No, it was really simple. I did just need to do that, but it didn't work correctly because I was on the wrong area. But like I'm used to Apple, it's so easy.
I'm not really into PC. I mean, they're good for like coders and stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know.
But
I say that the guys at E3 Creative are using Macs.
A lot of, E3 Creative. E3 Creative as well. If anybody ever wants an app built, go to E3 Creative.
Oh, yeah,
Don't even know what to say about that.
Even our eldest, Tide, said to us the other day, he said, E3 Creative, I've heard of them. And he came back and he said, oh my God, they've done stuff for Fortnite.
They are unbelievable.
So they've been one of the
unbelievable.
inputters and partners for working on the Fortnite
Yeah,
game,
it's amazing. Well, they work with PlayStation and everybody.
Yeah,
but
so
again, good people. What I kind of have consolidated over this experience and journey is good people. My friend in TV who is struggling himself, like, again, good person. Even when it came down to speaking to this morning when I couldn't do it because I put loads of things in and I just assumed I'd been replaced, like, remember going down and expecting to have like quite a negative experience, and instead the person who listened to me, Emma Morris, who's just about to go on maternity leave actually, she was just so kind and like really listened and really valued, and then came back to me and was like totally understanding. And you sometimes forget that even though you're quite quiet and you just get on with your life and you don't ask for much, when you need stuff, it's okay to just have those conversations, and you don't even need to call in favours because people are just willing to give those things to you. But I'm not a big asker, am I, in life? So, but it's crazy. It's been crazy, and I know that's really boring for anybody to listen to this, but what I'm trying to get across is when people like see me on TV, even if you might just catch a crime thing that I'm on, you know, just as an expert, it might even be that you've never seen me on This Morning. It might be that you don't even know I am on TV in the UK, and unless you're in Australia or South Africa or Germany, quite a lot of my shows go there. You might not really know who I am and just stumble across this podcast, but I work in TV and I work mostly as a freelancer. I am contracted to This Morning, ITV, but mostly I'm a freelancer. And you might never have seen me, but if you have seen me, there are a huge amount of assumptions that go with it. And that is, if you're in TV and you're in loads, and I've probably done about 45 series now. So I'm done a lot. So if you watch my crime stuff, you've watched me. You're going to assume a lot of things about my home. You're going to assume a lot of things about my car. You probably think my kids go to private school. You probably think that my background has been a completely different background than it has been. And that's completely all right because we all form those pictures. But actually, I have a really ordinary life. I'm certainly not a big earner. And for me, much of my work is what we consider pro bono. I do it for free. You do. You're a very, very, very hard worker. Don't. You work hard. No, but and this is my argument. I was having this argument the other day, and Emma Was, Inside Out, again, name calling, but Emma Was, watch her. She's the RTS Award for the youngest up and coming producer, and she's utterly fantastic as a human being. I adore her. I would work with her every day of the week. She's wonderful. But I was talking to her, and she's just like me. She just feels that there is just this massive inequality, that somebody can work in a position where they work their bottoms off and they're getting paid £7-8 an hour. Yeah, that's not good. It's not good. But the thing is, then you get this whole political, I got into this massive row. Look it up. Not the row. You won't get to see me in a row. But I had a row about it. It's called the Freddo Continuum. Right. So when we were kids, there was a chocolate bar called Freddo. If you live abroad, you might not have heard of it. But Freddo is basically this small chocolate bar. When I was a kid, it was 5p. One of those bars that you could get a little kid, and it was 5p, it was cheap. Now it's 30p. So what somebody had done was work out that if when you were brought up in the 70s, 80s, you were buying a Freddo then, how much of your wage that would have been, and then transcribed that to the present day. So extrapolated that fee to what it would be today. And you need to be earning £17 an hour now to be able to have the same standard of life buying a Freddo.
Well, £17 an hour is a decent wage, you know.
No, that's just it, right? So I wrote underneath, I think £17 an hour is just about a livable wage. The abuse I got for that. Yeah. How can you say a cleaner deserves £17 an hour? What about people who've actually bothered to learn stuff? And it was shocking. To me, £17 an hour, that seems like an opportunity where you have just about the basic amount of choices. So I'm going to just work this out for you now, right? So let's say...
I mean, when it comes to like sort of
By the way, if somebody's good at maths, I'm not. You've probably done this already. But let's just work this out. It won't be perfect.
I could have drawn it.
I'm going to do it based on a 35-hour week, yeah?
Yeah.
Times by 52. Okay, that's £31,000. And that's before paying national insurance and tax.
And your pension.
You're looking at about 23,000 take home. Yeah. So you're looking about just under £2,000 a month in your pocket. Yeah. That is not a high living wage. That is just the basic minimum.
Especially when you're looking at
you've got a mortgage.
South, the further down south you go as well, the more it is to live.
Imagine having £1,100. You've got these days £600 mortgage for a very basic house.
Yeah.
Add another 300 for bills. You spent £1,000.
Yeah.
You've now got £900, and from that you've got to pay for your cars. Yeah, you've got to pay for your insurance.
Petrol.
You've got to make sure your kids get the clothes that they need. It is crappy.
Yeah, stuff like your TV. You're going to have hardly anything to live on. You probably have like 20 quid a week to live on, which is a personal sort of like to get sweets or.
And then imagine being on £8 an hour.
Yeah. Well, this is the problem at the moment. It's there's stuff like I like football. I really do like football. I like watching them. There's lots of arguments between like, oh, look at rugby players and
Pete's
football
just
players.
found out that you can get virtual reality.
Yeah, football.
Virtual
Brilliant.
reality
Doing
football.
that. Yeah.
Very happy.
But it's just, doctors and who are saving people's lives and overworked.
Yeah, who do you want to find you dying on a street?
Yeah, well, not Ronaldo. You know what I mean? Unless you get a doctor with him. Don't
get me wrong. Doctors get paid well.
They do get paid well.
I mean, they really do.
Yeah,
I want to step aside from the doctors.
Okay.
Because I think nurses
nurses
are the ones that we need to worry about. And by the way, doctors deserve a really good wage. Yeah. But when you look at the ones who've gone through, become consultants, become plastic surgeons, they're living in castles.
I think sort of like firemen, I know they're going
risking
to the
their
job.
lives.
Yeah, I mean, my dad was a fireman.
Police officers.
Well, yeah. Police officers have this big bad rep, It's just like, of course there's going to be bad
they're
apples.
about 13 quid.
Yeah, there's bad apples within every workforce, But police officers, it's just like, come on. What's the first thing you do, like, when something's going down? Doesn't matter whether you're a bad lad or not, you're like, call the police.
What would you do without them? It'd be horrendous.
Yeah, and they are overstretched and they are overworked. And as I say again, there is bad apples. There is a lot of police men and women that get ego trips,
Most aren't, though.
What we need is the old school bobbies on the beat still, walking around, one for every area, just keeping it relationships with the community,
But the thing is, we don't.
That's a whole different podcast.
Pay people what they're worth. And I was kind of thinking about that. So just in context to that, I think that I work hard, but I work no harder than anybody else. You know what I mean? I work no harder than anybody else. And the reason I don't kind of take money when I'm doing my pro bono stuff is because actually I can afford to do that. Yeah. Not because I'm having a luxurious life, but because I don't need to have that handbag. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
You also have you have the ability that a lot of other people don't have the ability to do. That's your main.
I'm a healer.
Yeah,
that's my job. Yeah, my job is to be a healer.
Like if you were on like Dungeons and Dragons, you'd be the healer woman.
I'd be the dragon.
Yeah, would you?
I'd fancy being a dragon.
Well, they could heal people, obviously.
It'd be amazing. Yeah. Just to be a dragon. Yeah. That would piss me off.
I'd live in the dungeon.
A
bit of a creepy dude. You know what I mean?
It has been mental though, hasn't it?
It has. Yeah. I mean, should we move on to the old holiday situation? Should we only a little bit of the Spanish holiday? But then we can move on to like the little thing we have to do when I get off.
There's so much to talk about. We're going to have to watch time. We don't know how much we've done so far, and there's so much to talk about. Check the time. Do we know how much we've done? So, it's now 12:31. Right. So let's carry on. It might be in two sections, this next part of the story.
Yeah, okay.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Write in, comment below.
Yeah, it just means you can get like a part 2.
We have missed doing this. We have missed doing this.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
really have.
I mean, as you can see, that I haven't even got ready yet.
But it's
busy,
because of time.
Yeah, I'm busy. I'm busy editing some promo videos for some extremely cool parties at the moment. I've been.
He's working with Killing Kittens to do their adult sex parties.
Yes.
Not doing the adult sex parties, but he's doing all the editing for it. So he's got a bit of an unusual thing, looking for naked bottoms and stuff.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Which a lot of men and women, I suppose, would quite enjoy. But it's been a crazy time, and one of the things that we'd say every single year, and this is literally every single year, to the point where my brother just went to me this year, don't book a holiday for next year. That's literally what he said to me. He just went, stay at home next year.
For the past 4 years, is it? Every time we've had a holiday or Christmas, things have gone tits up.
Literally, every summer holiday I've had for the past 3 years, and Christmases for the past 4 years, have ended up just falling apart. Just falling apart. And don't get me wrong, we always have joy. We always feel blessed. We never lose sight of the joy. We never do. Even last year when Hannah died and all of those things were happening with the company.
Listen, people can't afford holidays, you know, so I'd
That's
rather
right.
go and experience something
that.
which is a bit mental than not together as a family, you know. It's.
But last year, what had happened was my best friend had died in the March, which had just been utterly traumatic. And then we had a holiday booked for the August. And it was for 3 weeks because I felt like that year I just needed a break. I'd worked flat out for a long time because when you're a freelancer, you just work every day.
She actually had to fly out the day after us.
Because I got another, because when I'm getting paid, I go and work. So I'd done that. So anyway, got there relatively with ease last year. And the problem that we had is we were trying to get the mortgage. And if you've listened to any of the podcasts before, the trauma of getting a mortgage for us was just hideous. But to say that the first 2 weeks of that holiday were me on the phone trying desperately to get underwriter to approve a loan that I needed for the house that we're in now.
A lot of tension.
That was hard work.
Especially on holidays, a lot of tension.
Yeah, but it was beautiful because I was with my parents. But the point was, it was very hard work in that respect. This year, we were like really looking forward to it. And then the company goes into administration just before.
Yeah, just before.
Just before, about a month before, we're going through the process of this really legally challenging situation. So we finally get on the plane. And I'd said to Pete, I really need this, you know, I need this. And even though there was still so much unfinished business, we just wanted to go and enjoy ourselves. And we arrived, and honestly, right, luxury waterfront apartment. Bear in mind, I take my parents.
I must admit, the journey was fine. The aeroplane was great.
Yeah,
you know,
Ryanair was ace.
Ryanair was brilliant. We were worrying about the sort of strikes, but we managed to wangle it. It was the day before
That's
that
right.
we went. We got an amazing Avis, was it? Avis? In the Girona, was it Girona we flew to? Yeah, you know what I mean? They were brilliant there. They were fantastic. Spanish people, bloody lovely. Well, Catalonian, sorry. And we drove to the place, dead easy, so easy to cross the barbers to drive around, you know. And then, yeah, as Emma says, we got there and it was like...
Shithole.
Yeah.
It's a shithole.
I mean, the guy was like, it was basically like, it was the only high-rise that was there. The area was beautiful, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it was in the middle of nowhere.
I mean, yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere, so if you want to be in the middle
He
of nowhere...
advertised it as spectacular waterfront luxury apartment.
So bear in mind that the sea was over 1,000 metres away, down a hill that you could
if
only
you're a
literally
bird, it was okay.
rock climb. Yeah, as the crow flies, that is. Rock climb down it, you know. So we were just like, we'll try and make the most of it.
We always try to make the most of it. So basically, we give my mum and dad the only decent room, but no aircon.
No aircon.
My own fault. But at that price, the price I paid, aircon was meant to be standard, and also in Catalonia, it's meant to be legal requirement.
I could swear that there was aircon on it when we booked it.
But the point is, it's a legal requirement.
Yeah.
So we just assumed it was. We got there, it was
little
hideous.
tiny fan in the front room.
Oh, it was hideous.
And then it was like our bedroom that we stayed in. It was like in this like the inside of the hotel had like a tube of like windows at the middle of it, you know. So it was like a clicker. It was like living in Brazil in some sort of high-rise mud hut thing. Like you'd look out and you could see everybody's washing and all, you know. And it was obviously there's no aircon. It was tiny. The bathroom was like you could touch each walls. Yeah, I mean, and then the ants I mean, there's ants
I
everywhere,
love,
you know.
we don't kill them. My dad, unfortunately, didn't have the same. We didn't get to my father before.
I'm
we found
talking
the
like,
ants.
you know, an inch thick. Like
Thousands
height,
and thousands of ants. And we are clean when we are away because we take Don and Kay, my parents, and they clean everything.
And it was basically...
I couldn't cook in the kitchen.
Couldn't cook in the kitchen.
Because it was so old-fashioned and you couldn't use the oven without the pan being on.
And you have a gas canister underneath the counter.
Everything
Bear in mind,
was
this is
dripping.
5-star.
This is meant to be
Yeah,
5-star.
and like,
Faked
The first day we
reviews.
went there, the pool's amazing. It was a big pool. It was great for swimming in. Like, it was like a full-size pool. But the place where we stayed was basically it was a residential. So the people who lived there had like a meeting board of people, you know, and the guy who rented ours out to us
was the
he was
president.
president. So, and as soon as we got a text saying, as soon as
Your children have broken the rules.
Your children have broken the rules. They've walked in with wet feet.
So I immediately wrote back, well, it's okay. I'm quite happy to find somewhere else.
And he ignored us.
But he ignored me.
So basically, we felt like we were being spied on by residents who lived there, you know, so it wasn't really much of a holiday. The kids couldn't really enjoy themselves.
It was awful.
Yeah, and then it just got to the point where...
I got to day 6, didn't I?
Yeah.
And I ended up thinking, well, I can't have the last bit of the holiday. So initially I booked 4 days somewhere else, didn't I?
I can hear people saying now, why didn't you move straight away? When you're on holiday and with
No,
your
I
mum
didn't
and
know
dad,
you
your
could.
family, yeah, we didn't know you could.
I didn't know it was
still
TripAdvisor because I'd done
yeah.
it through TripAdvisor. It was an independent.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could.
Bad
And you
TripAdvisor
can't. You
vibes.
can't. Unless you do it on the first day.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't realise that was the rules. That is something I've made a mistake of. But the point is, that guy, I still can't believe TripAdvisor didn't refund me at least half of my money. I didn't stay for the second week. Also, he's reduced the fee of that place from £1,500 to £300 a week. So I paid more, £1,200 more a week because it was so bad.
Yeah.
He's had to reduce it. But the point was, they've just not taken that into consideration. And it's fine, it's done.
No, but I just want to say, I do actually want to say on this podcast, so it's out there, and I'm going to tag this in the YouTube links and stuff as well, that TripAdvisor were bang out of order. TripAdvisor are really bad to book your holidays through. Go to booking.com
Oh, yeah,
because they look after you.
It's owned, the same company owns them.
Well, that's just bizarre because TripAdvisor are absolutely rinsing people
They
and
are.
ringing it
They
and
are.
letting
And all
people
those
blag
reviews
the
are
reviews.
just
yeah.
lies.
So we use Booking.com. It's the same company. They need to. The right elbow needs to speak to the left elbow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they need to
It's
sort it out
awful.
because it's just ridiculous.
I mean, like Pete said, it's first world problems. It's our holiday. But the point is, my mum and dad are 76 and it's our time to spend with them. We don't have a lot of time because my life, and particularly my life, means that I'm away a lot. And so we just don't get to have that time with them. It's like really precious and really important. So I felt like they're kind of stolen that from me. But anyway, I broke, didn't I? And bear in mind, I have spent, it costs quite a lot of money to pay for your company to go into administration. I had to pay for it all.
I had to save up as well to
Pay
the holiday
wages.
and-
I had to do all these things that meant that I don't have an expendable income. And we had to just pay it on credit, didn't we? It's the first time I've used credit
Yeah,
in
first time
forever.
with credit card, and we went and just rented another place for 5 nights, was it?
6 nights.
6 nights. And I'll tell you what, we drove over there. We packed up quicker than Speedy
Tidied the whole
Gonzales
place, though.
on speed, and we tidied the whole place just to make, and we just left, and we left the key under the mat, and we told him that we told him again and again and again we weren't happy and we're leaving because it's that bad.
We went to Tossa de Mar, didn't we?
Tossa de Mar, in a beautiful little family-run place.
Gorgeous,
And it
massive.
was just, it was aircon,
3
it was all
big
white.
bedrooms.
It felt like
Oh.
an MTV Cribs when we walked in because it was that good compared to what we were in. And we just literally just said, right, that's it. We could walk into town. It was so much better, wasn't it?
It was, and the best
Yeah.
bit was that because we booked it last minute, we got it for like 1,200.
Yeah.
But really, it would have been £5,000. So
yeah.
it was like, okay,
So someone had obviously
I've
dropped
kind
out.
of paid the amount that I would have paid.
Yeah, so we were really buzzing.
I
Mum and
was
Dad
so
ran.
glad.
Our
I
parents
spent
came.
the next 3 days drinking gin and tonic.
Yeah, our parents came down to the pool then because they didn't come out to the pool.
It was lovely that part.
It was wonderful.
It
yeah.
was wonderful. And
Yeah.
it was just that like wandering around and being able to walk in and have a meal. And we had such a lovely time, didn't we?
And what we didn't realise is that dragonflies are almost tame. We've got photos.
You've got to put some photos on.
Dragonflies just landed on our feet and our hands.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And every single time
Yeah,
that
they
Pete
kept-
went down, particularly this dragonfly would just come from somewhere,
Yeah.
just land on his toe.
First of all, I thought it was the same one, but then I guessed that they all just like to come down and have a bit of a rest on a nice, cool tour.
Well, I don't think people let them do that, but they loved it, didn't they?
Us being vegetarians, and we love animals, any kind of animal.
But again, it's the curse of the Kenny booking. Curse of the Kenny booking.
Yeah.
Like, I literally cannot believe that I have managed to screw up so badly.
Well, we've booked somewhere already for next year, and this time it is in the middle of nowhere.
I don't know. I'm going to check things out. I don't trust anything. Booking.com, very, very reasonable.
Yeah.
Very reasonable. Much cheaper than what we were just talking about then.
But it has everything we want, doesn't it?
Hopefully. It's probably in the middle of nowhere, but at the end of the day, it's got its own pool. I don't have to worry about it. It's fine. Yeah. But it has been, a period of massive change. And then we hit September.
Hang on, you forgot about the last day.
Oh, yeah. I've tried to erase that from my mind. So we were talking about it being brilliant. And it was brilliant the last few days. The last few days were brilliant. But the last day, I had been working in the morning. I've been writing. So Pete had been at the pool with our little kids. Very big kids now. I say little kids to make myself feel younger. And my parents were down there. So I get myself together and off I go down the playing ball, and Pete just says he's going to go back to the room and get something. And I go after this ball and I run directly into a sun lounger. And you know that moment, it's the moment where you feel the pain. But before you really think about the pain, there's a thought in your head that just goes, oh shit, that's not going to be okay.
Yeah.
Because the pain is something that feels different and distinct to any other pain you might have had. You're thinking it's my last day, and you automatically know you're not going to get away with it. Yeah. And I look down, and I've ran into a sun lounger, which has separated my little toe from the rest of my toes, and it has fully dislocated it. So my little toe looks like that.
So it was like 3 o'clock. Yeah, it was 3 o'clock.
And
little hand with your little toe was on 3. Well, I was coming down the stairs, and Dad came running up.
God.
And he was like, right, I think we need to get him to hospital. I was like, what? And I thought he was joking. He said, she's just broken a toe. And I was like, no, she's going to be fine. So I came on the stairs, looked, and you were hobbling over. And I looked, and your toe, and I was like, yeah, that's gone now.
I actually tried to pull it back into position. I looked online. I was like trying. Now I know that there is no way I would ever have been able to do that, because then we go to this pathetic doctors who then just tell us to go to hospital, bind it completely wrong,
jumped in a car,
get to hospital. We wait about 4 hours, 5 hours.
Yeah,
you're getting really annoyed because we've got to go home.
Every time someone comes in, if it was local from the area there, jumped in front of us. You know, it was just the way it was working. You know,
it was working that way.
So in the end, was standing away, but
you went and said, look, we can't do this anymore. We need her to. We're going to have to go home. And I'm thinking, God, I need this back in place. I was saying, I don't mind.
I did very well there.
Yeah,
I thought I was pretty chuffed myself. That I just sort of smiled and was dead nice instead of kicking off. I was just
always
nice.
Be nice.
You know,
kill with kindness.
Which is different.
That's
for me.
The rule. Kill with kindness.
Yeah, absolutely. I've learned from them.
But basically, I just needed them to put it back in place because it felt so weird. I just kept saying to Pete, it just feels really weird. I just can't get. And I tried to pull it back and it wouldn't go. Anyway, sends me for an X-ray, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then we're sitting there in the psychiatric room.
Oh yeah, put us in the room where they put us in the padded cell.
Literally there.
There's nowhere else to go.
I could have strapped myself into the bed. So
well, she went for the X-ray, and there was people walking past who worked there, and they were looking in like at me, like, oh, and I'm like, what? You know, I felt like I should start
they
screaming.
They would think you were the bad one. But then the guy walks in, doesn't he? A doctor doesn't speak to us.
No.
Just walked in, didn't he?
And I looked at you. I was
Starts getting bands out, doesn't he?
And I was like, you're not just going to strap it up, because we could have done it ourselves. We've been here for hours, wasted all day. I said, so what's up with it then? He looked at me and he went, I said, no, well, is it broken? Yeah, it's broken and it's dislocated. And I was like, both. And I looked at Emma and I was like, oh gosh. So I said, what are you going to do? Are you going to, because I was just sort of like just strapping it. I said, does it need putting back in or something? And he just looked at me and went, oh yeah.
And then
he just looked at Emma and went, this is going to hurt. Got his pen and then just went, 1, 2, crack. And
like, he pulled it twice. He couldn't do it.
And then pulled it out. There's his pen in the middle, and then pulled it and pushed it, and it just went crack. And I looked at Emma and I was like, oh, that hurt.
And honestly, the doctor was there. I was like this, and he was like, good. Yeah. And then he started to walk out, and I went to Pete, I think I'm gonna faint. I was like, I wasn't going to let him see me in pain.
It was hardcore.
But I was so relieved. I was so relieved. It was wonderful getting that back in position. It didn't matter that it hurt anymore. It didn't matter. Just getting my little toe back in its place. So that was the end of the holiday. Again, good flight home, so that was fine.
Yeah. Although we didn't realise we could have had you on beforehand. We could have given you a hand and... You know, and then we got to Manchester. Couldn't believe it. There was no queue getting back in. You know, all these people that complain, we didn't have to. And then the guy straight as she walked over, "Hey, you're off TV. You're off those murder programs." You know, and you were like, "Oh God, yeah."
He said, "Hello, are you the murder lady?"
Hello, are you the murder lady? This is the guy who takes the passport.
You the murder lady.
So much more friendlier, I must admit, in the UK, the passport control.
I love the British
But then he saw that she had a bad foot and she was limping, and his face, he was like, "Oh my God," because then he realised, I could have helped you, and, you know, and he seemed really concerned.
Do you know what? I'm not one for getting recognised. I get away with it. I'm a scruff pot in real life. And also, I'm not famous. I'm just known in my field.
The scruff pot.
I'm just known, though, in certain areas of, like, if you're into it. But I had this lovely experience. We went up to Grange over Sands, so this is how the holiday ends. So Pete's thing about the several holidays is, it goes like this. I had booked a house sitter. House sitters are amazing. It's with this particular agency called House Sitters, Trusted House Sitters UK. And basically, people who want to come and have a holiday in your home, come and look after your pets, they come and stay for the entire duration of your holiday and don't charge you, which sounds great. But we got Richard a year ago.
Yeah.
And we love Richard. Richard is the kind of person that we want with us. So we actually decided that we'd pay him because, one, it means that he's got some money to go out with, and secondly, it means that he feels that value, and thirdly, it means that we can book him the year afterwards, which, let me tell you, if you want a trusted house sitter, please do comment below. In the UK, he does travel, and he travels to France.
His website. I'm actually just building his website now.
He travels around, he goes to France, he goes to loads of places.
He's a vegan nomad.
£150 a week, which if you've got 5 pets like me, that saves me thousands of pounds. It's as simple as that, because putting them in catteries and dog homes, well, I wouldn't do it anyway. It's as simple as that. I don't want some of them, my babies. So he comes and looks after them. But I got the dates wrong. So I booked him, and then he got an extra 5 days here.
Yeah.
Because I'd got it wrong. I don't know how. Leave it with me. I'll think about a reason, but I can't remember. I think probably I expected a long holiday and get one. So my uncle's got a place in the Lake District. He's got a place that he always wanted to buy when he was younger, and he doesn't live there, but he goes there quite a lot, and it's at a place called Heron's Quay.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's like going back to 1983 because
Sunside,
literally hasn't
it's the
decorated
most
it.
Wonderful. In fact, I've got you know what I've got? I've got a time lapse.
Do it.
Which
Show
I'll
it.
stick in, and I'll show you the
He
time
never
lapse.
remembers to do it. I'm quite convinced that you never see any of these.
I know, yeah. I always say on the podcast, I'm going to have to troll through them and realise which links.
You are.
If anybody can remember of any of the podcasts that I haven't put any links in,
let's
please
see how
tell
committed
me.
people are.
Yeah, and then I'll put the links in.
Comment below. But it's beautiful, but it is like 1982. And when my grandma died, he decided to put everything that was in her house there. So it's like going back in time with Gran. Gran just isn't there, but she feels like she's there. So we went, and to be fair, it felt blissful.
Oh, yeah.
I had to go early. I was going to go early. I had loads of stuff on in London, but I had like 4 nights that I could do, and we just had...
You know you're aware when you've got to like nip into... what is it called? A Milnthorpe, and you've got to go to booths.
Yeah.
And it's like, because I think whenever you go to booths, shop in booths, because it's quite an expensive sort of, you know, but when you do shop in booths, it feels like an all day. It's like if you go to Media City in Salford, you know, there's a booth there. For some reason, when I'm down there and I'm shopping booths, I always feel like I'm an all day.
Just when you're paying a third more for everything. Oh, I'm on holiday.
But over in
it's like when you're in
Milnthorpe,
WH Smith in the airport.
Milnthorpe in Lake District, it does feel like that, you know. So it does. It feels like you're detached from the real world.
And we go to we have like quite a routine. So we go to this place called the Ship Inn. If you like food that's vegetarian, the Ship Inn does like bargain basement. And there's a place called the Gateway pub, which was just Gateway Inn, and it's amazing. Like amazing. We get veggie sausages and mash, and we have like kind of a rhythm. We know the places well.
And then over Grange over Sands,
we always go to Grange. Grange is amazing. So we just spend time in all the places that we're used to. It's what I did when I was a kid. We didn't have any money when we were a kid, and my uncle Derek had a cottage, and we used to go to the cottage. That was our holiday, so I know it like the back of my hands. But we had 3 nights there, really enjoying it. I said those words. So again, the curse of the Kenny holiday.
Yep.
I said, I'm really feeling relaxed. I'm really enjoying this feeling of feeling relaxed. That very same night, I got up about 3 o'clock in the morning. Everything was fine. Went to the toilet. My bladder isn't what it used to be these days. Mothers out there, you'll all be nodding your head. And go on Channel 1. Share those feelings. It's an amazing place to be. But basically, at 6:15 in the morning, all there is hammering on the door.
Yeah, banging.
Pete takes over from here.
I looked out the window. I thought, what's going on? Do you know? But you know when you wake up and you're just sort of like, what the heck? What the heck? What the heck? I'm in a bad dream. And I heard someone shouting, "You're flooding! You're flooding everywhere! You're flooding all downstairs! It's all flooding!" And I was like, "This isn't real." Open the door. So
After stopping me from running naked to open the door.
Yeah. Stop there, Emma. Put some clothes on. You're absolutely starkers.
I was confused.
And there was two guys at the door, big fella who lived like 2 floors down, and then a guy who lived like on the same floor but round the corner. And they were like, "You're flooding!" They're like really angry. "You're flooding everywhere." I was like, "What are you on about?" Like, just completely. I turned around, there's nothing. Then I realised on the carpet coming out from like where the boiler lives, and it's like the boiler is 30 odd years old, right? Like a big old tank. So I ran, and all I was thinking was like, has the boys got up or someone got up and left the bath running or the plug in or the tap or something? And then they opened the boiler thing, and underneath the boiler, it had corroded. It was that old, and a hole had appeared of probably about the size of a 50p piece from underneath where you couldn't see. And it was gushing out the water, so 250 litres had come out, and then the water was trying to fill up. So after it was filling up, it was coming straight out. Must have been going for hours, but because it wasn't at the top of the boiler, you couldn't hear it gushing out. So it was just underneath, just going, and literally there was like
as soon as you'd
2
open
inch,
the door,
open the kitchen.
As soon as you'd open the door in the bedroom, it just sounded like all I could hear was rushing water.
Yeah, because it was like the
You
door.
never want to hear that sound in a domestic abode.
Yeah. So, and the kitchen was 2 litres of 2 litres,
It
2
was
inches of
2
water
inches.
high, all the way
Let
through
me
the
just
front room.
say, whoever is interested in flooring that will not absorb, let me tell you, whatever my uncle has on that floor, it's very effective. Everywhere else it had soaked in, but no, it was just perfect. Two inches perfect on that.
So there must have been at least 5,000 litres of water that had gone through the flat downstairs.
And I don't want to make you feel sorry for me, but let me tell you, right, having a dislocated and broken toe, and then having to stand in water for like 3 hours, it's not good for it. It hurt.
I mean, when they realised it wasn't our fault.
And we had our dogs with us.
Yeah.
We had our dogs with us.
It's a good job we were
and
there.
And we'd secretly taken our dogs without telling my uncle.
I know, so it was all coming, you know. And then they were like, "What do you do? What do you do?" And I was like, "I don't know." So we turned the water off, and it was still also. We started trying to get rid of the water and put it in the sink, and it was a bleeding nightmare, you know. And what was happened is the boiler tank, the water tank was so old that it had been on the brink of going anywhere. And luckily, we were there, because if we weren't there, it'd have just kept on going, and you know they would have had to break in and they've had to stop it then. But you know, it was absolutely. I'd like to put a disclaimer that it wasn't anything to do with us. It wasn't our fault, but we really felt for Uncle Derek. You know, it was terrible for it to happen, but the boiler was
The thing
old.
is, right, we've got this thing about my Uncle Derek's, right? If you do anything
Wrong,
that causes any issue, like, you never are allowed to forget it.
I know.
Like, never.
That's all we were bothered
Never.
about. I mean, the guy downstairs who lived downstairs wasn't in. He was at the cricket, and he was an elderly gentleman. You know what I mean? Because it's quite the place where it is. You know, people have like holiday homes in it. It's like this, you know. But he lived there, this guy, and he was away. So they rang him, and he was like, "I'll sort it when I get back in 4 days." He was like, "The cricket's more important." All he knew, though, didn't he? He was just gonna a full new apartment. You know,
Let me just tell
it
you
had gone through and ruined everything.
I think it's important for anybody listening, should you have an immersion tank that could potentially corrode, what you need to do, because we now know, is should it start flooding or leaking, you turn on all of your taps because it goes to those more easily. So basically, it won't flood your place, it will flood out of the taps, and then you turn your water off. That's what you do. But it was too late anyway, because it genuinely was underwater. But that was the end of our holiday.
Yeah.
So, bit of a low, nice high.
Yeah.
Bit of a low.
I just couldn't believe
High
it.
low.
It was like a bad dream, you know. We were going to wake up and we were going to be like, yeah, just clean up and get going and stuff, as opposed to like, like honestly, you can see one of those films that just closes up on your face and you're like,
And all you heard me saying was, when they said it was a tank, I just went, oh, thank God it was
no. I had a vision of like either you or me, you know, like sleepwalking,
Putting the
like,
tabs-
just like putting the plug
Step
in,
brothers.
turning it on, putting cushions in the bloody oven, you know what I mean? And it was just like,
But it's okay. And it's a funny one, because I always feel like, for me, September's the start of a new year, bizarrely, because for my work, September's always like the busy time. And indeed, that's what's happening. And it's been strange because I've kind of come back and I've been away most of the time. And it's like I'm away a lot now.
Yeah.
But next week, we're going to Ibiza.
Yes.
So Monday to Thursday, I'm dreading it. I'm going to put it
take,
out there.
We're going to take a camera and we're going to do a bit
I'm putting it out there. I'm dreading it.
Yeah.
I'm dreading it. I just want to not be away from my boys. I don't see them enough at the moment. But I'm going to try not to be a Mardy. I'm going to try to be positive. But I have got a lot of work that I could be doing. That's the only way I'm thinking.
Well,
but
we're going to take a camera, so technically we'll be doing a bit of work. We'll do some vlogging and we'll put it on. Which got to plug again. We are doing another family vlog. We've got lots of footage, so I've probably got about 3 family vlogs to do. So it will be from the past sort of like couple of months. But yeah, there's some funny bits in there. I'll get that edited. And
I'm actually going to be starting a parenting podcast with Jessica Cunningham as well. So that's going to be exciting for me as well. But the main thing and the main story of today and take home of today, as Jerry Springer always used to do a take home of today, is be kind and always know that the storm will pass. And even if that storm involves a massive flood, that's why you have an insurance policy. And if you don't have an insurance policy, take this warning. Get an insurance policy.
Yeah, I'd recommend getting one.
Take care, guys. Thanks for joining us again. And we'll be back weekly, as we have been for a long time until recently. And thanks for listening and bearing with us. We know that we've just gone on about our life situation today, and it isn't to try to be indulgent and it isn't to bore you. It's just that we feel that our little podcast community and the people who do listen to us and who have missed us deserve an explanation. And we don't want to hide from it. We don't want to pretend that things have been easy. Okay, it's just life. But we also don't want to hide from the ins and outs of what's gone on, because we like to be transparent and authentic. That's
maybe some of the listeners can comment on the YouTube comments, if you listen on YouTube, of any of dilemmas on holidays that can outdo us.
I'm sure there'll be some.
Yeah.
Also, join us on the next podcast where we're going to be continuing to talk about things that are going on. Obviously, next week we're going to be in Ibiza, so we won't be able to do it, but it'll be the week after. And then I'm going to have to talk about what happened with Roxanne Pallett, because I unusually got involved in a Twitter storm. It's not my normal thing, but I did. I'm not going to do it again, though. It scares me a bit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of anger out there.
Isn't there?
I thought I was a bit angry, but I'm not death threat angry.
No, that's terrible.
All right, then. Take care, guys. Be safe, be happy.
Bye-bye.